Hello to everybody. Welcome you to this event. This is the corporate training call that M puts on every Tuesday night. This is in support of the Monday night call, which is what we call the product training call, typically hosted by Mr. A.J. Willoughby and his wife Jill, and facilitated by them with Dr. Fred Templeman hosting. And then they cover a lot of great product information, sometimes ingredients, sometimes results, almost always now a number of personal experiences that people have that allows them to share their personal experience with the products. Last night, for example, was a number of people talking about Corp, about Smart and Soul. And we have what we call the nootropic call. So the nootropic support last night was great, well received, terrific video from Dr. T. I know Mary Joslin was on, and I want to say, I'm drawing a blank on the other participant. So that person will raise his or her hand and give me a flash of reminder because it's escaping me. But Kat, I know you're on the call. I want to give a proper introduction to the kitty cat, Miss Kat Barnes. Kat and I go way back into the mid 2000s. So a good decade and a half's worth of knowing each other. And she is a sister to me. She is someone who can call me out when I need to be called out, but she'll also give me a big hug and a big slap on the back if I need it, and a kick in the pants if I need it as well. Kat, my sister, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm terrific. I'm glad you're with us. So Kat, let's start with very generally the things that are happening this summer and this fall that you and I and corporate and all the field need to know about M Network. What's the first thing on your mind?
There's so much going on. I'm so excited, not just with the Jamberry girls coming over, my jam babies, as I call them. Everything's happening so quickly, but we have so much going on between the cruise. Then we've got some other things planned, and then we've got, of course, the main event in November. And if you don't have your ticket to the main event, honey, you are in trouble, I'm telling you, because I've known Dave and Ryan a long, long time, and Glenn, and I have never known them to put anything on that was not a total class act. And I always walked away going, wow, I can do better. I know I can. I can do everything. I just know it, because not only do they, and I'm not saying that they pump you up, but they show you, they give you the tools at this event that you need to go ahead and go forward with your business. And it's always a surprise to me, because there gets a point, I mean, I've been in this industry for 20 years, and sometimes you get a little jaded and think, oh yeah, I know it all. No, you don't. You need to be there. You need to be at this event. And I still don't know who the keynote speaker is, but I'm sure Dave's going to tell me later on tonight, right? Anyway, but whoever.
I will. I'll tell you one. We have multiples, and thank you for reminding me. Let's give a sneak preview to the good people who join us tonight. We will give you a sneak preview of who one of our speakers is.
That would be lovely. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think
you ask, and sometimes you receive.
I receive frequently from you, and I appreciate that. And vice versa.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
You are my brother from another mother, no question.
Totally. Totally. So you mentioned the cruise and other things and the convention. Let's hit the cruise really, really quickly. We have just now secured the data that we've been looking for. This is not a plea for mercy or forgiveness, but just an actual confession of how behind we are. We now have the cruise data. We will be posting that information starting tomorrow, Wednesday, the 13th of June. I want to say early afternoon. So let's say early afternoon to us is already late afternoon for the East Coast. But by approximately before 5 p.m., let's promise that, before 5 p.m. tomorrow, we will have a list of the top 30 as yet qualifiers for the cruise in the Bahamas in the middle of August. So again, that is a commitment from us today on Tuesday that by tomorrow, early afternoon Utah time, late afternoon East Coast, we will have for you a list of the top 25 or so people who have basically 98% of the cruise qualified. I'll just say it that way. And we want everybody, and let's see, it's 5:07 here in Utah. Hopefully I can talk for long enough that I don't swamp our phone lines with what I'm going to suggest. But I will suggest to you that beginning tomorrow, those of you who are interested in knowing where you stand for cruise qualifications, again, kind of an apology and a plea for mercy here would be, we're sorry we haven't had the cruise information immediately available to you so that you could check it day by day. But we have secured the information. Some of you know we've been going through a little bit of a data exchange and a crossover with vendors and providers for who helps us monitor and gauge that data. Now the reporting of the data is something we feel comfortable with, and we are eager to report on it to you. So if you will call 888-383-2346, That's the number for M, member support. It also applies to customer support. Anybody who has a question about M can talk to the wonderful, sweet, charming, knowledgeable, and bold presences there in the form of Stephanie, Jesus, and Caitlin, who love talking to you. It's so fun to be near them when they're making their calls and taking calls, and then they hang up. I just love that person. I just talked to so-and-so. I'm not going to give you all away because some of you need to know who you are. And for example, Connie Ross, that's the one name I'll share. Everyone loves Connie. So of course we're going to say we love Connie. But they say, oh my gosh, they made me laugh, or they told me this story. I love the connection that we have with member support. So tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, call 888-383-2346. Ask them where you stand in cruise qualifications. Now, please have an idea up front. Don't be someone who just signed up a week ago and wonders if your order of 60 PV is qualifying you for a free cruise. I will tell you right now that it is not. But if you have been with them for a little bit of time, maybe a few weeks, and you have some personal enrollments and you have some volume growing in your business, as you approach that 5,000 mark of volume for a month, you can qualify for a cruise. As you approach 6 personal enrollments over this whole period of time, that helps you qualify for the cruise. Being on an active Blue Box, having an active Blue Box template, but at least having 60 PV in your monthly order, that helps you qualify for this cruise. So we will, again, have that information for you tomorrow. We'll post a leaderboard with names so you can see who's close and who needs some encouragement and who you need to try to beat, because we know there's a little competition to this. That, again, is for the cruise coming up in August. So, Kat, I'm going to wait to talk more about convention. You mentioned other things. Are you at liberty to disclose what those other things might be?
First of all, let's go back a little bit to the cruise, because when we were talking earlier, you kind of gave me the rundown on the list of the people, and there were 3 people on that list who I, as a leader, did not even know were that close. And so if you don't think that you're close, folks, you better go ahead and double check. And even if you came in 2 months ago, you may be surprised, because it's not unattainable. You could go ahead and get a couple really good orders and just bam, blow it right out of the water right there.
If I may be so bold, I'm going to jump onto our list right now. I've jumped over to another screen for a split second. I am looking at a spreadsheet that lists for me 308 potential cruise qualifiers.
Yeah.
So if you think you're close or not close, or well, there's no way I'm not even close, guess what? There are 308 of you who have at least some of those measures. And I mean legitimate measures, not 1,000 out of the 5,000 points. I'm talking about high points and high personal enrollments that are going to qualify you. So of those 308 names, we would love to see a lot of you earn it. So don't think you're out of the running just because you haven't had a call from M yet, because that again falls on us. But Kat, like you say, you are finding out about people who are close in your group. You're ready to help train. You're ready to help bring them along, help them get that volume, help them get those personal enrollments so that they can qualify. Great point.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you something, folks. I mean, this cruise is going to be so fantastic, because it's not just going to be, I'm sure we'll have a few, and I love it when Dave says, well, maybe we'll have a meeting or two. Well, basically, yeah, that doesn't last very long. And there's some official stuff and some stuff that some interesting things that I'm sure you will find out on the cruise that you'll not find out anywhere else. But let me tell you something that I was taught a long time ago. And it is the fact that the meeting after the meeting is more important than the meeting. And that sounds kind of funky, but it's true, because the meeting after the meeting is more important than the meeting. That also means that the people that you are going to rub shoulders with are successful people. If you want to be successful, you need to rub shoulders with those people and get with it. It's kind of like osmosis. You kind of grab it in. I'm a scientist. It just kind of grabs you in and pulls you along. Yeah. And so you need to be with those people. That's what's important. And the cruise is going to be great, and the Bahamas are wonderful. I've been there many times. I've never been on a cruise, by the way. I've been all over the world, but I've never been on a cruise. So, hey, what can I say? But I will tell you that being with those people it'll rub off on you. Rubbing shoulders, it'll rub off on you. You need to be on that cruise. I don't care if you have to not sleep for the next 20 days, but you need to be on that cruise. If you are anywhere on that list, you need to be on that cruise. So
basically, we want people to know it's not a dozen people who are going to qualify and everybody else can chill out. It's 300 people who are pretty close to earning a cruise for 2 people. So it's not just get yourself there and then share a cabin with someone you don't know who may have hygiene issues or who knows what. And I'm not looking in the mirror when I say that. I don't mean anyone has hygiene issues, but 308 people have a legitimate shot at earning this cruise. So we're asking that you give us a call. We'll be happy to look up your status and tell you, yes, it looks like you need X number of points of volume and you can be on that
and
cruise.
then get hold of your upline and anybody else that you can to help you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't care. I know John Zenas is on this call, and Dennis and Richard and everybody, and Andy and AJ and Jill. And we don't care if you're upline, sidelines, cross lines.
No, it's true.
We don't care. We will help you get there. But contact somebody, because if you're close, you need to be on that cruise.
Now, Kat, you bring up a point when you talk about contacting your upline, and I want to kind of highlight this because this is something that not everyone understands or appreciates. And it's not because it's a commonly known fact. It is a human assumption that we picture someone important or busy or who has achieved something, and we think that we don't have any position to approach them, that they don't want to talk to us. That is a misconception that we need to get over, especially in this business, because I can promise you, if you are on this call right now and you know an M3 or an M4 or an M5, 6, 7, 8, if you know someone who is in a position of having accomplished something wonderful in a business that you're trying to work on, they want to hear from you. It's not an inconvenience. It's not a bother. It's not, oh, they don't want to hear from me. Oh, they're too busy with other people. They are busy with people who want to grow, who want to develop. So Kat, I'm going to put you on the spot. We haven't practiced this. We have not rehearsed the next few sound bites you're going to hear. Kat, would you ever want to hear from someone who is way down in your list, who may not even directly affect your earnings, but who has some questions about how to build their business?
I would love to. If my phone never stopped ringing, I would be a happy camper. I'm not big on sleeping, so I used to, especially in another business, I had people from all over the world, and my phone run 24/7. And I'll tell you something too, and people don't realize this. It does not, when you need to reach up to find the person that you can work with best, okay? And it's like a ladder. Okay, well, that person doesn't fit this, just keep moving your way up. In my last business, and I've only built 3 businesses. In my last business, one of my best builders and now one of my best friends was on my 127th level. Okay, 127 levels deep. And we kind of met in the middle because I was reaching down and she was reaching up, and it just kind of happened. So we don't really care. And believe me, a lot of times we can't reach down because you don't know who has that burning desire. You're looking for people who have the same desire that you do to work with. And I know that on this call, if you're on this call, you're one of those people. Yep. And my phone should be burning up 24/7. I would be happy doing 3-ways, and the importance of a 3-way call, folks, is so underestimated.
Well, and what you said is true. You threw out a couple of names. We know, and you mentioned John and Dennis and Sue, and that list can go on. You don't have to be a $1 million earner to have value to share with someone. Right. So if you can recognize someone who might be struggling or wondering or new or curious, you also have permission to reach out to them, because the worst thing that could happen was for them to say, oh yeah, no thanks, I'm okay. Great, you check that off and you move on to the next person. But I know that John on this list and Joe on this call, and I'm literally scrolling through right now, seeing all the great leaders who are on this call. When you know what you can do and how you can help people, you've kind of refined your story, and you're able to help people avoid some of the pitfalls that you may have suffered earlier in your career. So Kat, you say you've been in this business for 20 years. I didn't know you could sign up at age 9, but that's something you and your attorney will have to work out. But what are some of the things that you recognize as pitfalls that you wish you didn't have to go through at the beginning of your earliest stages of building a networking business that you can tell people, maybe simply, not easily, but simply, that they can navigate through?
My very first experience in this industry, my biggest pitfall was I had no one to work with. I had to find somebody, and I wound up doing 3-ways with a lady that was cross-line to me. And it just worked out that way because I honestly had no way. Back in those days, back in the old days in the cave, we didn't have any way to get the smoke up to find the person above us, And that was the big thing. What people come into this industry don't realize is that you are not alone. This is a team effort. If you don't succeed, I don't succeed. If you succeed, I succeed. We are here to help you because it is a team effort. And I'll tell you, my dad had a restaurant in Carson City, Nevada. And at that time, there were 6 other nice restaurants in the capital. And I can tell you right now that Teddy Chu down the street was not going, yeah, Doug, I really want you to make it. There you go. Yeah, here, go ahead. What will you do this? No, the only one that cared whether or not he made it was him and the banker who loaned him the money to get the rest of it started. Yeah. In this, everybody cares because we all want you to succeed. If you succeed, we succeed, the company succeeds, everybody's successful. It's a win-win situation for everybody. If you think you're going to do this as a standalone, all by yourself, well, God bless you. And if that's the way you want to go ahead and plow that field, honey, you go ahead. But I got news for you. It's a lot better to do it when you're hooked up to a 20-mule team, you know? And we're all here to help you pull that plow. So one of the things you mentioned was starting off without knowing how to reach out or reach up to someone. Short of actually, I mean, certainly your enroller should be the first person you go to. That in an ideal world, your enroller has all the answers, has all the availability, and has a great personality and wants to help you build. But what if your enroller is as new as you are? Okay, then what? Then you go ahead and find out who their enroller is. Perfect. Perfect. Always look upline. Now, here's something I'll also volunteer. I have been around our call center when they've received calls from people asking questions. We aren't really in a position to say, here's how you should structure, or here's the words you should use to help this person understand the business. That is not our role. That's not our strength, and it's not our forte. But something that we are able to do is to say, let's connect you with someone in your area or in your upline so that they know that you're looking for help. And that's something we want to offer, make available, so that when you have a question, and maybe it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, maybe they can't answer at that moment, but with all the technology we have available, you can leave them a text, an email, a voicemail, send them a message through Facebook Messenger. There are ways to reach people now that we couldn't do earlier unless you wanted to be a little obnoxious and call after 9 p.m. local time. But that's not even an issue anymore because they can check their phone and know in a second. Here, one of my, and Kat, I hope will vouch for this, I don't always reach out to people with a phone call. I try to send a text. And I say, hey, call me when you get a minute. Does that work? And then that way I'm not interrupting someone. They're not in the middle of something. I would rather say, call me when you have a minute, then they know I'm eager to talk with them, but I haven't interrupted them. So if you have a question, you're curious, the simplest step is to just shoot them a text, a voicemail, an email, something on Facebook Messenger, and just say, hey, when you get a chance, I have some questions about this. Can you reach out to me? And that's a great connection, I think. Exactly. And you talk about technology, and you know, we all use it. I'm not, as you know, very good on Facebook. I'm still learning it, et cetera. But one of the things that one of the leaders, Deidre Howard, actually taught me was this thing called Marco Polo. And I see there's a question here, the M and Jamboree coming together. How can Jamboree reps find advice for M, et cetera? We started a Marco Polo. And if you don't know what Marco Polo is, it's an app. And I mean, you can get on and you can make it go fast. You can make it go fast forward, and it happens very quickly. We started MJam Fam, MJam Fam, Marco Polo, and everybody is welcome. And the thing is that you're allowed to ask questions. You can go ahead and you can give advice. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people on there, and they'll help you in any way they possibly can. And there's only one rule, and that's just like anything else in the Cat Club: no whining allowed. Okay, there's no negativities. I will remove you. That's it. End of discussion. But there's no such thing as a stupid question. Don't mistake negativity for questions, because you all have questions. And I don't mean just the Jamboree people. I'm not talking about the M people and everything else. We have a Marco Polo for fundraisers. We have one for skincare. We have a lot of different things for a lot of different people as far as Marco Polo goes. But we also have the Facebook pages. We have the skincare Facebook page. We have the fundraising page. I mean, we've got all these different things. The cool thing about this, Dave, is, you know, I was retired. I retired once at 40. I retired once at 50 from the company that you and I both know. And I came back in, and what got me was not just the products and the structure and the people, because you all are family. You know, you and Ryan and Glenn and Richard and everybody are all family. But the fact that this is the first time in my career that I don't have to do it one way. There are only two rules, okay? You don't cross-recruit, meaning you don't recruit. You can be in any company you want, but you don't talk to them about other companies. And I'm not including Jamboree in that, of course, because we're all family now. And the second thing, the second thing is you don't sell below retail. Unless you're selling bulk, you don't sell below retail. That's it. Two big rules. Otherwise, we have 7 fabulous models that we can go ahead, and they're platforms. We can do fundraising. We can do events and booths. We can do business to business, which is what I'm doing right now.
1 second. I want to clarify that you just said the word booths, B-O-O-T-H-S.
Oh.
Some of us may have heard something else there, but.
No, actually, there are people who do smartinis, but we won't talk about that. I don't drink myself, but I've heard about them. You get a hangover and you cure one.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Moving right along. 7 beautiful methods. You're right.
I'm sorry. Okay, we got fundraising, we got events and booths. We got business to business. We've got direct sales. We've got home parties. We got social media, and then we've got the network marketing or the MLM side of it. So we've got 7 platforms here. We can do it all. We can do some of it. We can do one of it. It doesn't really matter. And the cool thing is like when I'm talking to somebody business to business, whether it's a salon about the skincare or a dispensary about the smart and small, whatever it is, sometimes I don't even mention that there's a network marketing side of it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Then you guys pay me 25%. Whoop-hoo! I like those checks, baby. Those are sweet.
Good spot to be in. Now, a couple of people are asking about Marco Polo. The Marco Polo is the old swimming pool game when you shout out Marco and then someone else says Polo and you're supposed to be blindfolded and go find them in the pool somewhere. The Marco Polo app is a similar thing where you create a video of yourself and it's really just you talking for 20 seconds, a minute and a half. Don't be obnoxious and go 9 minutes on somebody because not everybody has that time to listen. But you just say, hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing today. And I would love, I'll do it a little closer with an actual event, with an actual device. Hey, I just had this question today. If anybody out there has any answers, let me know. And then you close it down. And then people are responding to that. What is that name of that group again? If you don't mind, Kat, if you will throw that on. And I'll type it into the panelists.
It's called M-Jam Fam. M-Jam Fam. And you're absolutely right, Dave. What it is, it's kind of like a visual Marco Polo. Try and keep your comments as short and concise as possible because there's a lot of people on there. And when you first start on it, you're going to go through all of the answers. It's kind of cool because you're going to see the history and everything. You can fast forward through any of it. If somebody's droning on about something, then you can go ahead and you can skip ahead of it. But a lot of times, some of the answers, I mean, I learned things on it. Some of the people come up with our teams are so imaginative. The way that they come up with things to build and promote. Joey and Sandy Fotheringham are just, their booths are amazing. They take pictures of them, they show them to us. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm not going to mention everybody but it's amazing. It really is. And to be able to share that and see that, it's kind of like a visual walkie-talkie. It's fast, it's sweet, it's concise. Yeah, if you're at an event and you have a question about, hey guys, can kids take rocket? Boom, somebody's going to be on Marco Polo and answer you right back.
Yeah. Yep. So it's kind of an extension of
it's fast, and I like
Facebook pages we have, but this one is a lot more personal. You're looking and connecting with people. You get to know some of their personality. And just as a follow-up to that, some people are asking about how do we get those connections between the companies now that we're becoming one entity and looking like that's going to be a beautiful future for us together. There are also those Facebook groups. There's also that toll-free number, the website, mnetwork.com. These things are all in a status of evolution. We're never going to be complacent. I'm sitting in the same room as Dr. Templeman. I won't tell you what he's wearing right now because he's just come from the gym, but also looking half professional. So if I were to swing the camera, Fred, step over here. Let's just wave to us from behind. Let the good people see at least what your top half looks like. I'm not sure if that's going to be of immediate. See, look at that. Totally professional. That's all you need to know. So thank you for your support here today. But we want people to know that we are in a state of constant improvement. We believe that we can always get better. And if we're not trying to get better, we're standing still. And if you're standing still, you're falling behind. We don't ever want to fall behind. We want to advance. We want to progress. We want to help people. And we want ourselves to develop as well. So I'm looking at the clock, 5:27 p.m. I want to do one more plug for where we are with the convention, November 1st through 3rd. I mentioned that I might share one of the keynote speakers. I will do that for you now. His name is Mike Schlappi, S-C-H-L-A-P-P-I. Mike has a phenomenal and a fascinating backstory, and he is someone who has overcome odds I'm not going to tell you too much. You can look him up. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a great Facebook page. He's got a great YouTube. I said YouTube. He's got a great internet site. But Mike is one of those heart of gold guys who, and I'll just tell you right now, he started out as basically everybody's favorite guy. He still is. But he was running for student body office in 8th grade when I was in 7th grade. And he went to his friend's house. And I'll let Mike tell the actual story. You could probably also find it online, but as a result of an accident, Mike was shot in the chest and was paralyzed from the waist down. And instead of letting that define him and shut him down, he has accomplished more in our intervening years, in any one of those years, than I have in the full 40 that it's been since this happened. He has been an Olympic athlete, a Paralympic athlete. He has been a member of the Utah Rolling Jazz, which is the Utah Jazz officially sanctioned and sponsored basketball team for wheelchair athletes. He has carried the Olympic torch. He has met with dignitaries. I want him to tell the story about meeting Sting. I'll save that again for him. And if he won't do it, I will, but that'll be later on. But again, Mike Schlappe is one of, not the only, one of multiple keynote speakers that we will have addressing us and sharing with us at the November convention. I have 5:29 on my clock. Kat, give us a closing thought and sentiment to take us out of here with a bang.
We are in the right place at the right time with the right people, folks. And yeah, we're pioneering a lot of this, but the fact of the matter is that things are rocking and rolling and they are so impressive. And if you knew, and I won't say anything, if you knew some of the things that were coming up, you'd be strapping on the seatbelt, the helmet, and pads because, honey, we're about ready to rock it. Let's rock it.
I asked for the bang and I got the bang. Gosh, is it always that simple? Will
Yes.
you please talk to my children about how that's supposed to work? I'm teasing. They're awesome too. All right, folks, 5:30 p.m. here in Utah, 7:30 on the East Coast, 4:30 in the West Coast, and all points in between. We love you. We thank you for who you are and what you're doing. We have got some really great stuff lined up. And we know it's bumpy. We know things are not always ideal and perfect, but again, we are always improving. We will always be working towards something being better, whether it's products, compensation, website experience, phone calls, webinars on a Tuesday afternoon. We're going to do what we can to make it better for you and with you. Thanks for being with us. Everybody have a great night and a great week. Don't forget the Saturday morning call with Dennis and Sue Ligon. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's available on the same mnetworkcalls.com page. Kat, I know you have your Thursday night call. I know others have calls out there. Be talking, be open, be friendly. Share what you can, what you know, and we will all be ending up at a phenomenal place together. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, Dave.